Hello, Zach.
Hello, Aaron.
We're looking at Into the Breach. What do you think about this game that just came out?
What is this game?
So I would define this as like a tactical role-playing game / roguelike. You can name your characters, and in fact, Zach, I've decided to name my time traveler Zach.
What was wrong with Ralph?
Well, this is going to give a personal element. But anyway, this came out on
Better not
February
let me
27th.
die.
Well, spoiler alert, something good is going to happen to you.
Oh, good. So when did it come out again?
Feb 27, which was this week, actually.
Oh. How topical.
So the plot of this game, it's very topical. The plot of this game is that you're in some mechs and the world is fucked, so you go back in time and you are constantly going back in time. So it's a roguelike in that you are fighting and then you die and then you go back and you unlock certain things, but
there are giant insects.
So every level is an 8x8 grid, and the objective of the game is if you'll have many objectives. Like you see up on the right, it says defend the tanks, which is like you get reputation for that, which is it like lets you buy new weapons and things in between islands. Mm-hmm. But if buildings are damaged, then you lose grid power. You can see up at the left, there's the power grid. And if you get 0 power or you all die, then you have to abandon the timeline and start over.
Oh, so it's time travel is what's happening.
Time travel is the main conceit of this. So it's a 2-man team, the guys that made FTL. And it's sort of like a response to like Pacific Rim and just like giant like kaiju kind of stuff.
This looks like Pacific Rim the game, but with like more pixel art graphics.
Yeah, I would liken it a lot to like chess, because you can see what the enemies are going to do next turn. For instance, that bug at the right is going to shoot that mountain next turn. So you need to position or harm the enemies in such ways that they aren't harming civilians. Also, spoiler alert for this, I don't do great, because this is like my second or third game, so I make a lot of dumb mistakes.
So, what are those bubbly things with the red arrows?
So those are next round. Bugs are going to come up from there. So if I position a mech on top of that, or an enemy on top of that, it will block them. So I have one less enemy to deal with next turn. But I also, whatever is on that block takes damage. So if you can maneuver a monster onto an approaching monster, that's like a really good thing.
You just lost a building.
Yeah, I don't do great in this playthrough.
It seems like there's a lot of bugs right now.
There's a lot of bugs. That's to be sure. Oh, you're doing great. Oh, you just punched some guy, Zach.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I would be the punchy monster or mech if I had one. Whoa.
So there's a lot of pushing and pulling.
Yeah, everybody just moved.
Yeah, exactly. There's 3 different kinds of mechs. There's like your prime mech, there's an artillery mech, and then there's like a third kind of mech, which can be like science or like other weird things. This guy is not having a great time, and in fact, I think he is going to die this round.
Yeah, so can you recover health?
You can, and I should have. So every turn, you can move and then do an action, much like Dungeons & Dragons. And you can take an action to repair yourself, but it means you can't heal. And another thing about this is you have a stable of... So I've got you as Zach, and then I've got this helmeted person, and then I've got what appears to be a robot as my third person who is about to die. You can unlock a bunch of different pilots, and they all have interesting perks once you level them up. So like, for instance, there's a person who can move, attack, and then move. Or there's another person that can... or is not affected by like webbing. You see the guy at the bottom is like webbed up by that scorpion, so he can't move.
Oh, that's what that is.
In addition to that, like, achievements actually matter in this game. So each squad, this is the starting out squad, the mech, the artillery, and the tank. And each squad has a set number of achievements you can get. I think one of their achievements is like drowning 3 monsters in a mission by pushing them into water. But anyway, every achievement gives you a token, and you can use tokens to unlock different squads, which are comprised of different mechs. So there's a bunch of different interesting ways that a game can play out. So the replayability, I mean, it's a roguelike, so obviously it has replayability, but this especially is like a game where I can't stop playing it because I want to unlock things and just like change the game in fundamental ways.
Yeah, but so it's a roguelike though. So if you complete this one and you've lost like however many power grid points, that carries over to the next round or whatever.
Sort of. So the way that it is, there's 4 islands, and then there's a 5th island that's like the final boss island. So you start out on an island, and you have to get through that island, and then you can choose another island. And at the end of the island, so like those bonus objectives, they have little stars next to them. If I complete those stars, as well as like saving civilians, I get rep. And at the end of an island, I can use rep as a currency to either buy new equipment for my mechs, like I can get a giant sword for you, which would allow me to do sort of like a cleaving thing instead of just a singular thing.
I definitely want a big sword. They didn't use
or
that fast enough in Pacific Rim. They waited until the end.
I'm sure it'll be all over the second one. See, look, I'm losing all this power. But anyway, you can also spend rep to get power grid back, and also just doing well on missions gains power grid back. And all your mechs also heal after every mission, unless someone dies.
What happens if they die?
If they die, they're replaced by just a robot. The benefit of them being alive is they can level up and get really cool. But an AI is just basically there, and you can control them, but you're not really gaining anything by them being there. You'll see that I barely make it through this mission. Actually, I can't remember. I might die, and then because I wanted to show what abandoning a timeline looks like. So I just knocked that guy into the fire, so that'll be a fire damage. Another interesting thing, which I don't think I show, is the attack order. You can hover over that and see like the order of operations for every round, and that's like very vital for setting up your dominoes.
Yeah, because right now it looks like the flying insect on the top left part is attacking nothing. He doesn't
exactly.
He doesn't figure it out and like, oh, I should actually attack something and not just swing and miss.
Yeah. So it's see, I won.
Hooray! Zach has succeeded.
So now that I've won, you're alive. You gained some XP. I defended the tanks, so I got 2 rep, and now I can pick another mission to do. This one is great. I love mine missions. It's got water and it's got mines, which like the bugs are really dumb and will sometimes just walk on mines, which is very beneficial.
Well, I mean, they don't figure out that they need to turn to attack the building if you move them, so that's good.
So this octopus-looking mushroom guy is a special kind of bug where as long as he's alive, all bugs gain health. So it's very important to kill him quickly.
Would you prioritize like saving a mech or a building?
I would say a building, because mechs will die, and that is bad. But they won't affect your power grid. And your power grid is the main thing you want to protect, especially when you get to like, after you defeat a certain number of missions on island, it'll be like, oh, the big boss has come. You have to go back to Central Command. And you want a lot of power grid points for that, because those are usually very punishing missions.
So can you succeed if you have no mechs left? Like if you still have power grid by the time the turns run out?
No. So if all of your guys die in a mission, that's it. Basically, the last person is gonna warp back to your hangar in the future and restart.
So do you always get to keep one guy, even if
you always get to keep one guy? But you have to, if you want to pick, you need to abandon the timeline before he dies. If he dies, then you can't decide to bring him to the future again.
So would it be
so things are really going sideways, you should just abandon stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. So if it's looking real bad and you're like, oh, but I put so much like points into this one guy, you might you just abandon it and keep him?
Yeah, because like there's benefits. once you can pick your pilots when you're in the future if you want to start a new game. But if you want a completely leveled up pilot, you want to take him from your previous game.
So you don't
A lot of them,
necessarily.
like I just got this guy in my run that I'm doing right now that can move through enemy units, which is really, really handy because sometimes they'll box you in later levels, and it's really, really beneficial. It's all about movement, like precise movement and thinking like 2 steps ahead.
Is that a different skill or a different mech altogether?
It's a different skill. I should have. Maybe we'll do another one of these because I am about to unlock a new squad, and that changes everything entirely. But
So do you get
yeah,
like
every pilot has innate things.
do you get some sort of experience even if you like fail? So it's like there's something that carries on as you go,
Well,
or is it
I
just
mean, you get personal experience.
brutal and it's over and you just have to start from the beginning again?
If you do achievements, then you do unlock different squads. But that's pretty much the only thing that carries over, I think. And, oh, there's also the guy that you sent back to the future.
But you have to be careful because you might lose him.
Exactly, yeah. You really have to be like, well, you'll know if he's about to die because things are so slow and turn-based. So if he's about to die, you can just abandon the timeline and start over.
It seems like Zach has an awful lot of health right now.
Yeah.
He's in pretty good shape.
Exceptional skill, Pilot Zach.
Ooh. Yes, of course.
I could have handled this. So the playthrough I'm doing right now, I did a perfect first island, which is hard to do, but the more you can avoid losing power grid, the better. Because then oh look, you were promoted.
Well,
Anyway,
I
this has
expected
been.
no less.
Oh, and I killed that guy. These are some of the things I can do. I can install some stuff. But anyway, this was into the grid, but also into the breach. So you should take a look at this. It's pretty fun.
I might just do that.